experience is non-physical. That's obvious. I hope that for you it's obvious that if you begin with thinking, a thought is not a physical experience. But it's also true for seeing. Seeing is not a physical experience. That's why if your eyes are open, you are seeing. If you close your eyes and you think of a banana, you perceive a banana. So in both cases, you're having an experience of seeing an image. But in both cases, it's a mental stuff. It's not physical. It's an experience, but it's not physical. It's an experience of seeing. It's the same for hearing, for tasting, and for smelling. It is, but it's also true, and that's where it gets more tricky, for sensing. A sensation is not physical. A sensation is an experience appearing to you, but the sensation itself is not physical. There is a belief that the sensation comes from a physical body that is physical, but that's a belief. The actual direct fact for you is that I am having an experience of sensing. There is a vibration here. Yeah, of course there's a vibration. Yeah, but this vibration is not physical. So our experience is mental. It happened in the mind, not in the mind that people believe that it's a word that is often create a lot of confusion. The mind is often believed to be the thing that the physical brain creates, some kind of bubble inside the brain of electricity and biology that creates some kind of experience, and this is where all of your thoughts are. I'm talking about the mind. Your experience is happening within something, and you can call the mind, the bigger mind, or awareness itself. So experience is non-physical. And it's important. Why? Because it is not physical, you are not trapped into something physical. It's not like a jail. People often have, I'm stuck, like, because there is this strong belief that the body is like physical and we are inside it, and therefore it's like a prison, right? A prison, there is four walls, a floor and a roof, a small windows, which are the eyes and the perception, and I'm just stuck inside. I'm doomed here. But that's the belief if you believe in matter, in physicality. But if you see your own experience is non-physical. And the body, the experience of the body is not physical, it's sensing. And when you start to perceive and understand this, you will start to see you are not trapped in a physical body, you are trapped in your own belief and assumption. So you are trapped in your own confusion. And when you see that you are trapped in your own confusion, you see, I'm not trapped, I'm just confused. It's very different. Because the seeming impossibility to step out of our prison disappeared, because there is no prison, it's simply a confusion within me, something that I'm not seeing clearly. And therefore, all of this suffering and this layer of suffering can vanish immediately. It vanish. And just this can already be a huge shift, huge already. The simple understanding that your experience is not physical. Your mind thoughts tell you that this experience comes from something physical. I will not enter here if yes or not. But the point is, your experience is not physical. It may come from physical object. It may be not. But the fact is not physical. Your experience is not a physical experience. It's a mental experience. It's an awareness experience. So whatever you are experiencing, you are not trapped by it, in the sense that often a mind that is stuck with materialistic understanding, on the belief. So if there is any question about this or anything else.
David, I have a question if I can ask it.
Yeah.
And it's tied into your kind of talk there, which was around experience is not physical. And for me lately, my issue is that in the body, I feel very tight. I hold a lot of tension. It seems to be
Yeah.
increasing. I feel tighter and tighter. Just today, I tried a little bit of yoga compared to how I used to do it, years ago. And I'm so much more restricted and tight, and I can feel ligaments and tightness and the desire to kind of floss nerves. And so that to me is the immediate issue. Not awakening, not any of these ideas around enlightenment and all this mind-made crap that I'm kind of sick of. Here and now, I'm in a body that's tight. And the story around it is because I can't express emotion healthily, the tension is building up in the body, and I seem to be powerless to do anything about it.
Mm,
There's a
mm,
bit, will yoga help? To this
mm,
question of, I just want to feel comfortable in the body. I'm not looking to transcend
yeah,
it. I just want to be comfortable in this
mm,
body now. What
mm.
what would you recommend?
First, it's beautiful if you stop with all of the theory. Like what I'm hearing is you're saying this body, but what I'm hearing is this is my experience and this is my struggle right now. And so this is
Yes.
what I have to take care of. Stop pretending that this tension is not there because there is awakening. No, this is bullshit. Like you say, no,
Yes.
this is my experience. This is where my struggle is. And for you, the struggle is in sensing, in the dimension of feeling the feeling sensation.
Yeah.
Um, Yoga, because you try yoga, I'm trying not to go too much into theory those days, but it's very hard, but I'm doing my best. Yoga, what you speak about is yogasana. Asana is postural yoga. The posture in yoga is one aspect of the whole tradition of yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are talking about yogasana. And in yoga, there is different kind of yoga, which has different understanding of what is the use of the body. I will talk about two things that can be very useful for you. There is two understanding that are very nice, and one that now is completely lost. The first understanding of yoga, there were only 11 posture, and they were sitting posture. They were simply showing you how to be seated and how to change posture to allow you to stay seated longer. That's all. Yoga was simply the yogasana was simply look at your experience. Oh, and by the way, because it's easier to be seated to do this, there is 11 posture that can be useful. That's it. And then it kind of shift through the millennia to be now some kind of gymnastic, like to release the body,
Yeah.
be beautiful, be this, be like a spaghetti and do photos on Instagram. This is bullshit. Yeah.
Yes.
But there is
And to put it
another
another way,
yoga. Now tell me.
I'm not looking to do yoga. If I know I said
Yeah.
yoga, but I'm just looking to not be so tense and restricted in my body.
Yeah, yeah. I'm coming to it. And then there is a very interesting tradition, which is really beautiful. It's Kashmir Shivaism, which is where Tantra come from. But not the Tantra, the sexual Tantra that the Westerner has. Just it's a blasphemy. No, the Kashmir Shivaism, it's beautiful because it approach experience very similarly at what I'm experienced because I think it's a beautiful approach. And they say you have to meet your experience as it is moment to moment. And if tension are present, you have to meet this tension with sensitivity and understanding. And this is what I'm proposing to you. So do you approach your experience with sensitivity? To me, there are two things that are very useful. The first is the yoga that I'm speaking about is the yogasana, is the moving your body while you meet the tension with great sensitivity and you see your own ego, your own mind that want to put an objective on the exploration. For example, if I have pain in my shoulder, right? And when I lift my arm up, it's painful, right?
Yeah.
So the mind directly. So I will move the body to get rid of it. This is the first. I just want to get rid of that. So you just try to move, not to feel it, but to erase it from the body. The approach, my advice, is to do the movement while you feel the tension and try to meet the tension with sensitivity as best as you can.
Could I say sensitivity a different way, just with love?
Yeah, with love, with love. But this is where it gets tricky, and this is where if you ask me, I will give you the full answer, which is you have to meet your body with sensitivity and understanding and moving correctly. Yeah, this is the theory, right? This is the beautiful thing. You see, you say this and it's nice. In practice, it's often yogasana is great because they give you the understanding of how your body should move.
Yeah. We're
Because
getting it to that.
there is a way that there is structurally the bone should be aligned in a way. And if your body is disaligned, if there is a great tension, you can feel it for 30 years and nothing will happen. So at some point, that's why you have to be sensitive, and finding a good teacher, which it's an impossible mission almost, who really understand the body and the mechanic and the anatomy, and is also sensitive with what I'm telling you, and is
Yeah.
giving you the advice of how to understand what is the correct posture, right? And then within the correct posture, understanding what's happening.
In another way of putting it, it feels like listening to you talk that I spent years with this awakening process through the mind and the emotions, and that's been the atmosphere or the place to do the work. And there's a feeling like that hasn't worked. And during that time, the body has been kind of changing and becoming more restricted and tight and holding tension. And now I'm trying to work with the body to
Yeah.
achieve something, but I suspect that might end up being a dead end as well.
No, to me, it's the opposite. That's why at the beginning you work with thoughts. My life, my problem, my wife, my husband, money, children, disease, this and that. And this is just the world and the war, and this and that. All of this drama, this is thoughts. When you understand that this is a story, you say, okay, it's a story, but what about my emotion? I feel this, and then you go into emotion. Okay, let's go to the emotion. What is an emotion? The the correlation between thinking and emotion, which I explore deeply in the course, right? Because it's a very interesting part. Because emotion are connected with relationship. Almost 99% is in relationship with people. So if you explore this, but at some point you arrive at the conclusion that you're like, okay, but this body, it's terrible. I feel terrible inside this thing. What is
Yes,
that?
yes,
So it's not a dead end. It's a natural expansion of your sensitivity. That now you have sensitivity enough and understanding enough to say, okay, but what is this that is here? So it's not a dead end because you are not exploring the body. You're exploring the dimension of sensing, which is
sensing.
a
Yeah,
big it's a huge aspect of your experience. It's the biggest one. I mean, it's a comparison. It's not really good because every dimension is infinite. But thought is, when you understand the problem with thought, it's very easy. Just, I mean, you know, yeah, just a thought, nothing else. But sensation, it's a whole universe to explore. And that's what you said to understand. You said, but what about tension? What about this? What about that? And that's why with the body, there is two different layers that you cannot deny. The first is You have to learn to be with sensation, with sensitivity. That means with tension and expansion, because even expansion can be fearful. Like, well, I'm losing all boundaries, and this can be fearful also. So the contraction and the expansion has to be. We have to get back the habit of feeling them, both of them, right? This is
Well,
one layer. The
yeah,
other layer is I cannot deny that the body has bones and a physical structure, and that if you haven't been taken care of, well, there is things that are available to you if you want to explore. There is a lot of techniques. They don't not only yogasana, but there is other things that are very interesting. Tai Chi. There are many things that kind of give you some kind of pathway to realign your body and your muscle in a way that is more harmonious with its nature.
that's really interesting because I just started to look for whatever reason this week. I started to watch short YouTube videos on Tai Chi basic movements, and now I want to find a local class that I can do it.
Yeah.
I remember doing it for a short course in work years ago, so I'm obviously been drawn to Tai Chi and
Mm.
doing a little bit of the physical part of yoga, as you put it, to try and
Yeah.
bring the body. And I suppose, like you're saying, this is the next journey through sensation starting in the
Exactly.
body, but who knows where it'll go. I've definitely felt lots of contraction, not so much or any expansion yet. So I look forward to being afraid of that.
Yeah, but you see, if you want to feel expansion, you have to feel what is blocking the expansion. So when you are feeling the tension, you are feeling the next issue that you have to zoom in. So this is the process that you are in, that we are all in.
Would this be I don't want to say a true statement, but I feel like I want to say that the ego's sort of stronghold in if not the last stronghold, I don't want to make that conclusion, but it feels like it has a stronghold in the body, in the physicality and the sensation. And that's something now to look at. Um, I'm not sure if that's part of the journey.
Yeah, well, it is exploring the body is the biggest part for me. Mm. Because if you think about the past, you think about yourself in some kind of body,
Mm,
right? So you have the body as an image
yeah,
already. So when you explore thoughts, you are already undoing this image of the body. Yes, there is no David yesterday. There is an image of a body yesterday. Yeah. So you hold this image and the fear of the body of the future. What will happen to me? Don't say to me what I'm really saying. What will happen to this body that I'm imagining, right, in the hospital or this or that situation? But it's always as a body. Yeah. So that's why the core of the issue is often the body, because the body it's the identification. Yeah, it's the identification as an individual, that is body, and it's also the proof of materialism. If you have those kind of discourse that I have with people who are not aware of non-duality or anything, and you tell them there is no matter, there is no object, and the first thing they will tell you, they will hit a wall with the hand. Look, this is hard. You are stupid. This is kind of, because they believe that the body is a proof of the separation. The body is the proof that that there is physical object out there. So yes, the body is really the core. It's a stronghold of the ego. Yeah, let me say that way.
but what's the best and swiftest approach to exploring sensation, the body being part of that, that I'm not just exploring my body forever and becoming a yoga expert and getting really flexible and thinking that's the journey. Like, what is the direct pathway through this?
The direct approach is the one that is appearing to you, because you know it's some people have the luck to meet great teachers in yoga, in tai chi, or there's many different things, right? There are things that are from Western. There is Alexander technique, there is Feldenkrais approach. There's many techniques that show you things about the body. And often it's about how if they are available to you. Because maybe you're in a place in the world that they are not, maybe you don't have the money, maybe you don't have the time, maybe you don't have this. So often you do your best, and what is coming to you is what you need. So really trust your own
Mm.
intuition and trust what is appearing to you because, if someone do yoga, that's great, but there's no teacher here. So, what do I do? Online, I like it, don't like, no, it's just very personal. It doesn't matter. But one thing that can be useful, the swift way is a slow, sensitive, and intelligent approach of movement. Because anything that goes fast, even yogasana, there is type of yoga that they move too fast. So it's just impossible to really feel anything because it's like gymnastic. And there's Tai Chi who are very bad teachers not who just are bad teachers and they don't understand what's all of this about, and they are great ones. And there are other teacher of Tai Chi, like one that I work with a lot. He is focused on martial Tai Chi, which is only fighting. He doesn't care about anything else because Tai Chi at the base was for fighting. So it really depends of what you find and life, what life proposed to you. But mainly slow, gentle, and someone that you feel that he understand what is your intention, what is the goal of this activity.
Yeah, no, that resonates, David. I appreciate that. I did martial arts years ago, and I was always into the more spiritual side of it. And like, really, in martial arts, slow is the foundation for fast. Everything done slowly in that
Yeah,
sort of mindful way is it's the same as yoga. Beginner mind, beginner yoga is always where it's at. So that resonates. And I have had that sort of calling to Tai Chi and some very slow stretching. So it is about taking that time and being good to myself
exactly.
in the
Exactly.
sensations. Yeah. So thank you for
Yeah,
that, David.
great. Because you see, a lot of people say, yeah, I'm very peaceful. I'm a very peaceful, I'm awakened or whatever. And you see them very peaceful all the time. Not all the time, I mean the 2 or 3 hours that you see someone, right? But anyway, but then you see when they move their body and you see that some kind of struggling with the body, right? So then I think that we have a very strong capacity to fragment our experience and to deny part of our experience. And many people in spirituality deny the body because it's not there. There's no body, so therefore I don't have to kind of look at it. Maybe it's true, I don't think that Jesus was doing anything special, but and he, some I don't know. I'm not saying that this is an obligation, but I'm saying that for me, it's huge. Exploring the body, it's huge, and it's a huge pleasure also. And people are very, very calm, and then when there is pain or there is tension, suddenly they lose everything. They lose grip on, on this piece, right? So if you lose grip because a sensation is too much, how sensitive you are really. Not like a judgment. Simply, we all have our boundaries. We all have our limits. It is experience, which we have to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, I suppose the body is really just saying to me, "Hey, Dennis, we have work to do here.
Yeah,
Let's look at this together."
beautiful. That's beautiful. And you will see the mind and the body are one thing. So if you meet, if you have attention in the body and you work on it for every morning for 8 months or a year, every morning you do 10, 20 minutes of exploration of something, exploring the body and things, you will see by feeling the tension, you will see how much emotions come up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, I
So
know that
that's
one.
why,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why you, you believe that your emotional work is done, but it's not really true. Now you are just exploring even deeper, the deeper roots of superficial emotion, which is the sensation, right? I'm very peaceful, everything is fine, and then you know I want to move in something, and it's so painful that I start, oh, that's horrible, and I start to complain, and this is what is huge, life. But it's not a judgment. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm saying we have to be honest to what we are, and we have to answer to the need that is presenting to us. This is exactly what you are doing. Then you say, okay, now I see the body is the issue, and I want to explore this. And you're asking me, but through me, you are telling really life and the universe, show me a way to explore this, and you will see a way will come to you.
Yeah. Thanks, David.
Yeah. And that's why for in the course that I'm offering, we start with thinking because that's where often the biggest confusion is. We exploring thinking, identification, time, control, and we go. And then we explore emotion because the emotion is where thought and sensation overlap. When a thought and emotion overlap, a thought and a sensation overlap, that's where an emotion arises, right? Because an emotion is an interpretation of a sensation, so it's the overlap. So that's why we start with thoughts, then we explore emotion, and then we dive into sensation and perception also, but mainly sensation. How we can explore the body? What is the issue with, not the issue, but what is the confusion that I have about sensation? And that's to me what you are sharing. It's a confirmation of the power of the power of my course, because what you are describing is exactly the step that my course is building. So it seemed to be the main a general process that happened that way. Not for everyone, because of course we are very unique to everyone, but there is a tendency to do thoughts, emotion, sensation, perception, and then there's this sinking back into infinite. How are you, Pattea, since your operation? Are you good? Are you healing?
I'm healing,
Getting better?
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking, David. I had an interesting experience. Um, I just had rotator cuff surgery, and it really sucks. Jesus. Oh my God. I mean, I had 17 hours of back labor with my daughter, but it paled in comparison to this.
Mm.
And it got really complicated, and the pain was extraordinary when
Mm.
I wasn't able to handle the heavy duty pain meds that they gave me. So on top of just having come out of surgery, I ended up in the ER, like I think within 24 hours for sure, because I couldn't keep the pain meds down. So yeah. So it was a thing. And there were 3 days when I just wanted to die. It felt that horrific to me. And any thought that I have ever had about non-dual teaching was completely out the window. There was nothing but the pain I was in, and the emotional pain, and kind of sinking into depression and not feeling a way out. and then wanting it to just end so that that could be the way out, that kind of stuff. Luckily, I have a very loving partner who helped me through this. And then I woke up on the fourth day and I I felt relief. And the first thing that I noticed was the recognition that nothing is permanent here. So just understanding that I wish I could have understood it better and been more in touch with that in the middle of the crisis, because the crisis felt overwhelming. I mean, there was one day where I considered just taking the whole bottle of oxycodone, but um but I didn't. I mean, it's not something that is my go-to. Suicide has never been a thing that I've considered. But I did think about it just for a little bit. But when I recognized that nothing was permanent, that was like an opening. That recognition was just an opening. And then over several days, not consecutively, but over some time, I started to meditate again. I hadn't been meditating, and and in the second meditation that I did, I I could see that there was a part of me and a part of my personality that wanted people to see my pain. I want you to see my pain. I want you to see how much in pain I am. I want you to recognize how much stress I feel, how I've been suffering with depression for so many years. I want you to see it. I want you to see that. And that led me to an understanding that I had built my whole identity around this idea that I was a depressed person. I had a whole story attached to it about my mother. And I think my first depression was when I mean, the first one that I recognized as depression was when I was like 22 or 23 years old. Um, so I had built this whole idea of myself, not only as being someone who experiences depression, but also I needed other people to recognize that that's who I was also. And I when that clarity came to me, I really kind of pulled myself out of my meditation, because I wanted to stay there for a while in the clarity. I wanted to sit with that. And then I think it was in the next couple of days that I realized, oh my God, that was a choice. I had no idea. I felt victim to the experience of depression, but I made that choice. I chose that to be part of who Patty is. I chose that. So that's mostly what I wanted to share, was that I'm I'm recognizing that there is a physical aspect to this. There's a physiological aspect to this that might bring challenges to me. And I'm trying to I'm trying to get, get to a greater understanding as fast as I can, sort of, to mitigate that. But, you know, if you've ever experienced depression over many years, anybody who has knows this. There's circuitry in the brain that's now in place and says, "We're ready whenever you are." It's like this little railroad track of, um, firings and misfirings that kind of makes grooves that are primed to repeat the experience over and over again. And I want to choose differently. So yeah, I think that was all I really wanted to share. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. And I so wish I could take
Mm,
your course. The timing is not so great for me because my daughter's getting married and I just have a lot to do. But I definitely want to take it at some point. So I hope you offer it again.
mm. Yeah, thank you for sharing. It's, I feel it's very powerful to realize that we are not victim of our emotion and our stories.
Yeah.
And that's what you're sharing.
Yeah.
And
That's
when you say,
right.
I choose that, this is a nice way to really understand that this experience we are having, it's your choice as awareness. Because,
Yes.
and it's, we can't understanding from a limited perspective, but it's a fact, and what you are sharing is a revelation of that. Is that, oh my God, is that truth? And
Yes.
you say, you spoke about the brain and all of this. Don't use the brain to reduce the power of your presence. The presence
Yes.
can
Okay.
eradicate absolutely everything. And there is stories of people who are addicts, like like in heroin and things like just like it's impossible to get rid of like just in a day. But they're saying that something happened and then it was gone.
Yeah.
Of course, like there is support and it's a process, but the strongest pull was just eradicate from them easily. Why? Because awareness, what you are, is the power of life itself. Is the
Yeah.
power that is moving the universe right now. So don't understand the brain and it can be useful, but
Mm.
don't reduce the power of your awareness to the brain, which is a very small thing that is happening. It is infinity that we are.
Yes. I could see that. I've been able to see that my whole experience in that painful body aware body experience that I had
Mm,
was, when it was happening and then afterwards, part of me felt a little defeated, like as if that wouldn't happen if I were sort of further along in my evolution somehow. It was just an idea, like that I wouldn't have experienced such trauma or something. But then after I recognized that my depression had been a choice I had made, what it felt like was being in some kind of really terrible relationship with another person that is just extremely toxic or has violent tendencies or is dangerous or whatever, abusive in some way, and having that moment
mm,
when I'm not choosing this anymore. It felt literally like I was choosing to have a divorce from this idea
mm,
of myself as depressed. And just in response to what you just said about understanding that awareness trumps the brain, I do see that that whole experience that I had and leading me into that depression that felt so catastrophic, and then coming out and then having that realization, I'm not sure that it could have gone any other way.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's all a part of something that's already unfolding in me. It's just already unfolding. And I just have to stop working so hard to try to make it unfold, I guess. Because now I can't do anything. I can't drive. I can't use my right hand. It's like I'm spending so much time doing nothing, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Thank you, David. I appreciate you.
Thank you for sharing and your authenticity and openness. Suffering and pain are opportunity. Suffering and pain are teaching lessons. Not that we have to suffer, but because, like you say, you say you, but we, because we are all at the bottom of the ladder. If there is a ladder, we are all at the bottom, right? So there is no need to to think that anyone is above or under.
Right.
Well, if you are having an experience of being a human in whatever form there is, you are at the bottom of the ladder, like everyone else. So here we are. Yeah. So suffering is a teaching opportunity, and it's teaching you something. It's teaching you suffer because you make a choice in the sense that you identify, you believe stories and assumptions that are wrong about yourself, wrong about the universe, and you're wrong about what can you make you happy. That's what I was speaking about in the beginning. This is the confusion. But if you don't see the effect that they cause in you, the suffering, the pain, the confusion, the anxiety, the rage, the terror, the thought of torture and killing and wars, and if you don't see the effect of this, why would we question any of this? So the teaching is look at when you step away from me, when you step away from what you are, it's become a hell. It become just so painful. Come back here. Come back. You will see. The more you go back in your being, you see, and the more that's nice. That's beautiful. And then when you move again, because we are very stubborn, so there is something that is very stubborn and very stuck in the habit that go back into the drama, go back what you say in the toxic relationship. You feel the pain and the suffering and you say, what? Yeah, right. I just confused again. And you go back and you go back. So the beauty, like you are never stuck in a situation. You're always free to choose again. Choose again instead to choose what you are, to remember what you are, to be focused on what you are, and to feel what you are, instead of the drama, the story and the
Yeah.
individuality. This opportunity is always available. That's why you hear that joy, peace, and love are always here, no matter what. So thank you for sharing, because it's
You're
a
welcome.
powerful example of what I'm trying to explain, but maybe sometimes too it seems like it's a theory up there, but no, it's really a fact of experience.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for all of it. I say that, but like I just had a moment and my body was like, really? Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
see, exactly. No, what you say is beautiful. Allow your own, when you feel your own awareness, there is gratitude that comes from it's natural,
Yes.
because it's so immensely beautiful and so unfathomable mystery, amazing that it is here. That is often gratitude and devotion are the two states of a healthy being. If you don't have both of them, because you are very confused. So there's this gratitude. Allow this gratitude to transform everything of your past, all of your belief of the past. Allow the situation that were terrible to be transformed in the light of this gratitude, to be transformed in, that was a beautiful you know, a beautiful experience because it teaches me what I'm feeling now. It has shown me something. It has allowed me, you know, to become more sensitive and to see what I am. So thank you, you know.
Yeah. It's had a rippling, because when I had that moment where I saw that it had been a choice, and over the years, many depressions and deep, deep, deep depressions where I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't work. But when I saw that that had been a choice, well, huh, if that was a choice, what else is a choice? So that's where it's kind of leading me now.
Yeah. This is the rabbit hole that this is the process. And you go deeper, and you go deeper, and you go deeper. And whenever your mind is drawing you into the past, if it's not from a perspective of gratitude, don't go there.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the past for you. You were not depressed. You were not happy. There is nothing in the past. It's dead. There's nothing there. There is this that is here. So whenever you feel drawn to the past, you know, just remember that it's an imagination.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. I had a time when something happened in me and I fall in what they call clinical depression. I went to I make the mistake to go to a psychologist who told me that I was depressed. She told me that I was depressed. But you know what she called depressed, I call it seeing clearly. I was seeing clearly that I was very confused about what to be happy, how to be happy, what is happening, what is life, what is the purpose of my life, what is the purpose of experience. I was very confused. And this confusion was there. I was just seeing it for the first time. It was very, very powerful. And all of the advice that I had of people were go back to what you used to, you know, distract yourself, go to a party, you know, meet a woman, do this, do that, you know, distract yourself from this. Don't stay with this emotion. But I had somehow, with a divine assistance, I had this strength to hold it for years, and something happened, you know. And things like what you are sharing is to see how happiness was always available to me in all situations. I was just so willingly. I wanted so much to be a victim that I just fool myself in at every turn. Do you want to be happy or be a victim? I want to be a victim. And that's it. And then now there is no um, what do you say? Angriness. No, it's not I forgot the word in English. About what happened in the past, about what people did to me or not did to me, all of this, it's gone. This is right here, right now. And right now it's an opportunity to feel the blast of your presence and the blast of your happiness. It's really beautiful. And that's why we have to be sensitive. And that's why the integration have to be really, this understanding has to be really integrated into what you are. Because what you say, right? When it's easy, it's fine to say everything is fine, but when it gets rough, that's where you start to see, you know, how much you are really feeling this truth. So at some point, it's really between you and yourself. And life will always put you in a situation that you will have to face, your own experience, directly without anyone somehow helping you really. It's between you and yourself. And this is the real meeting what you are directly.
Can you talk a little bit about integration? Because I guess I've had this idea that it seems like when people have talked about um, when they've been able to recognize who they really are, that moment literally changes everything because this is my interpretation only. I'm just using words. I'm grasping for words, but because even though life is going on just the way that it did, still in a body with money problems, a body with illness, a body with family, a body with relationships, a body with jobs or whatever, there is a higher understanding of all of those things not being really why we're here and not being as critical or important or detrimental as we once thought, maybe.
Mhm.
Like there's just a layer of a knowingness that changes everything, even though everything is the same. But when you talk about there having to be some integration, that's the first time that I've heard that word um in the like non-dual, I guess, non-dual teachings. So I'm not really understanding. Would you mind sharing how you did that? Like, was it over time of, because I asked you one time if your seeking has ended, and you said yes.
Mhm.
So how is that congruent with the integration? That's what I want to understand.
Seeking is when you search something that will happen in the future that will free you from your actual condition, because you judge your actual experience as that is not desirable, that is inconvenient. And of course, there is always both. Right? There is an aspect that I don't want, and there is an aspect that I want, but is not here. So yeah, this is desire. And I'm holding the belief that there is something in the future that will end this conflict, that will end the every conflict, and there will be some kind of absolute bliss, and there will be no more body, no more experience, no more nothing. It will just be in a bliss state forever. And this will happen in the future when I have done things enough to reach this state. The realization that you can have is that what you seek is right here. It's a huge shift when you realize that it's not about changing experience. It's about seeing what is happening in my experience itself. It's completely different, because when you want to change your experience for something different in the future, you are not questioning any assumption about what your experience is, right? Like I'm David. I don't like bananas, and I live in a country where there is only bananas. So my life is terrible. I hate bananas. I want to eradicate bananas, and I hope that I decide to seek freedom from bananas. I have a whole trip about bananas, But I never question, is there bananas to begin with? Ever. I just start with an assumption. I take them as granted. I am an individual. I'm stuck in a body. I'm doomed to die. What can I do to kind of be happy until my death and avoid pain? And this is kind of enlightenment, the image of seeking, yeah, freedom from this. But this is a seeking. You can use the word awaken, or when you realize this is the one of the first but the biggest step, maybe it's to realize, but I don't have to seek in the future because there is no future. I don't have to seek a different experience because there is no different experience that this is right here. I have to look at this experience right here. When I say I am an individual, what is my experience of individuality? What I'm talking about? What is my actual direct way I feel I am an individual? What is a thought? What is a sensation? What is a relationship? But really looking at it, not what is instead trying to answer conceptually, but what is experience? And then it shifts completely because you are start to looking directly at your experience and you learn to see the way that you engage yourself with experience.
Mm.
It's very different. It's
But
very different to
do you go in and out of that understanding, like over time, like until you have some complete understanding? I mean,
no.
just
To me,
trying to understand the integration word here.
Yeah. Realization never, you never go back. You can never go back to it. When you realize something, you just, a good image is the Santa Claus. Okay, I use this image, this story, to talk about the word integration. At the beginning, you believe that there is Santa Claus, there is someone living in the Pole North, and he's giving you gifts, right? So through time, you learn that when you see a person disguised in red with a white beard, you have excitement coming within you, right? Because it's Santa Claus, I'm going to gift and everything. And then you realize, oh, this is a story. There is no Santa Claus. The story. There's absolutely no Santa Claus. It's a lie. If you look at your experience, there is no Santa Claus. Yeah. So this you realize that. But then, even if you have realized this, even if after, if you see a man dressed in red with a white beard and you start to feel excitement and you have memory about gift and you want a gift and you want to give gift and you start to kind of go into this trail, from my perspective, the understanding that there's no Santa Claus is not clearly integrated.
Okay.
When it's integrated, when you see someone with red with a white beard, I'm seeing someone in red with a white beard and my body is not moving. There is no movement in my body because it's absolutely clear that this guy has nothing to do with gift or excitement or anything. It's a correlation that is, it's an imprint that is inaccurate, that is false.
That makes sense.
So that's the same way that you integrate different layers of your experience. And I don't speak often about stages because after it looks too much like really like a university. Like you have a diploma. If I do this after this, and I don't like to speak that way. But I understand your question. Right? I'm trying to answer your question.
Yes.
But then there's a different understanding. Now you had the realization that you being in a depression is a choice. But then you say something very interesting, and this is pointing to the integration. You said, if my past depression, experience of depression, or the memory I have were a choice, what else is a choice in my experience? And that's where you start to integrate. So to see, so maybe every time I'm feeling miserable, every time I'm in fear, is a choice. Why do I keep choosing this? What's happening in me not seeing that I'm keep believing that is producing this in my experience? And the
Yeah.
more you explore, the more you will see it will be integrated. At some point, you will see that you will start to feel more and more your own being, your own peace, and you will be less and less disturbed about event in your life and relationship. And that's how you integrate the message in all aspects of your life, in thoughts, but also in perception and in sensation.
Yeah. And I have been able to see also, like, before any thought came up about it, I had a thought. That didn't make sense. I decided that I was going to pay attention to my thoughts and recognize if a thought came up that might be, Lord, sort of like a stepping stone back down into a depression, whatever those thoughts were. So far, all I could come up with was a big pot in the kitchen didn't get cleaned, and it's gonna be really hard for me to clean it. So I wanted my partner to clean it, it didn't get cleaned. But and that's I mean, that's minuscule, but the point being that if I have radar up here looking for things that are wrong, then eventually it's gonna lead to me, that there's gonna be something wrong with me, and that's where depression lies. So I have to really, yeah, but what you just said makes sense.
Well, a part of our suffering comes from our identification with an entity that is not there. And that's what I talk about integration. You maybe at some level realize that the person, it's an illusion. But when someone come to you and criticize, and you hear criticize and people look at you and speak to you and criticize you, you feel a reaction in your experience. If you feel this reaction, that is there is something that I'm not very clear about. So doesn't he's not talking about me anyway. So why should I react emotionally? And I want also to say that not everyone is inclined to integration. I think sensitivity, it's very similar. It's kind of a different way to speak about the same thing. Not everyone is called to integrate much. I mean, for everyone is very specific. Some people just say there is no one here and they just keep their life and they don't care about anything much. And for me, I find I find it very enjoyable to explore every aspect of my experience, to explore sensation, to find different way to be more sensitive to what I am and trying to align my life in the best way that I can, and I believe that it should be. It is to realign all of my experience to this understanding, to this truth. But that's not something that you have to do. It's just something that I feel pleasure to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And integration can also be understood as the way that you get in touch with your innermost truth within you, and you start to allow this divine intuition to kind of to be expressed within you directly. And you start to have a direct contact with your own essence, and and it's said to be really direct. The communication is said to be really direct, and the effects start to change. And when I talk about integration, because you need less and less information about outside, about what to do, what is right, what is wrong, what is truth, what is not true, what is the next step, what is can be helpful also, but at some point it become an inner guidance, very personal. It has nothing to do with whatever people think around you or any of this. But this is the strength of understanding, because what is an integration for awareness is a dissolution for your ego. So the more your individuality dissolve, the more you are integrated into awareness. You are reintegrated into what you are. You are remembering what you are. But the more you remember what you are, the more your individuality disappears. Bye, Denis. What time is it now? Is there one last question? Because I see there is people who are not, their camera is not activated. If there's one last question before we close.
I guess, is there any, I mean, this was all very, very beautiful. Thank you to you and to everyone who participated. Just anything that we can take with us this week to deepen this sensitivity that you speak of and exploration of our own self or experience.
What did I say last week to you, Tami? Do you remember? What? I mean, what were you exploring last week?
To me personally, I was struggling a lot with noise, and if to do spiritual to become fully enlightened and sink into this horrible noise or whatever. And you said more about kindness and to be just more normal, to stop trying to be some spiritual overlord and a spiritual being or whatever, some perfect thing, and also to stop hating myself, but and to just treat myself kindness like a baby, and just yeah, that was a lot of it. Of
And how was your week?
I came out of that craziness of the intense noise. It was a horrendous few days. It was just really on the verge of whatever, tremendous despair. And then heard some news about my father and his diagnosis. But so it was a crazy thing. But I tried to remember occasionally what you said in terms of like when I was about to, I did spiral a few times about my father, about the noise, about my future. But I tried to remember that of like, I don't know, maybe a little bit like Patty was saying, like, oh wait, I kind of had a choice. Like in the past, I never had a choice about going into panic or despair. It was a spiral that overtook me. And I still had that experience, a day with my father's diagnosis, a day with 4 days with the noise. But at some points I could kind of stop it and say, wait, I don't need to go into that craziness. So it was a little bit more kindness rather than sinking into the hysterical blaming of myself or shaming or stuff like that. Just like, wait, I don't need to do that right now. Or like, I've been there, I know where that leads, kind of thing. Like, we don't have to do it again. It's been many, many times, many, many years. Yeah, we know where that goes. Maybe just like, yeah.
But you see right now, I'm hearing a smile when you speak.
You're hearing my mind.
I'm hearing when you speak that you are smiling. You were smiling as you were
Oh,
speaking.
yeah.
Like there was some humor on this situation. And a great tool is to look at the drama of your life, because every human life is miserable. I mean, human experience is miserable in comparison to what we are. It's really ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
but to laugh, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna die. This body's gonna die. What I'm going to do? I don't know. There's no. I have no idea, you know. And there's war there, and I don't know, and money and economy, and there's I don't know, and you just laugh because you know it's not that important. And when you laugh, you remind your mind that it's fine, you know, that it's not as terrible as the mind is painting, is
Painting it, yeah.
projecting it, yeah, painting it, yeah. It seemed terrible, but it is not terrible.
Yeah, for me, it's not
When,
about dying.
yeah.
It's about the suffering during the lifetime. In other words, dying seems to me like nothing, but it's like the pain of life. Whoa, that is
Yeah,
that
but
and like
yeah,
with my father's mortality, like I'm not used to it. Like my grandparents just passed 5, 6 years ago, and all of a sudden my father's getting diagnoses, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, I need 20 years for the next generation. And it's like to have to deal with his stuff. And that just brought up my stuff. I'm like, oh, it's not a joke anymore. I'm not 15 anymore, and I have not lived my life. I didn't get married. I didn't build a career. Oh my God, I have to get a business, start getting married, move to Switzerland. Like I have to do all the things. Like it just, and can I ever do it? It's never going to happen. Oh my God, I'm never going to be a
why
perfect,
not?
like just going
Why?
freaking out.
But why is not going? Why is not going to happen? Because you think about death. So even if you say it's not about death, it is about death. Because death is the end of something. So you feel stressed, you feel time, you feel the stress of time and all of that. But this is the point is be be light with yourself and laugh. Learn to laugh. Like it's crazy. You know, there are situations that you can be in. It's really insane. It's just like at some point you have to laugh. I have traveled a lot in the world. I have traveled in North America, South America, Asia, North Asia, Australia. I mean, I have traveled a lot, and I come to the realization that every culture, it's insane. I mean, the way they work, the administration, the politics, the belief of people. I mean, we are all crazy. You know, human is crazy, just insane, just the madness. And at some point, what you complain, you want to change. No, you just realize, you just laugh. It's just like, okay. You call someone, you know, just sense of time in Africa when I was there. You call someone. I mean, when you find the number finally, you call someone, say I'm coming, and he not coming for 2 or 3 weeks, and you just why aren't you coming? I don't understand. But that's just how it is. You know, just life being what it is, and it's useful to laugh, to remember to laugh, because it make our experience way more lighter, and we remember that life is very light, because awareness has no gravity, so everything is very light, in fact.
Yeah, I guess what's left is this huge fear that I'm doing it all wrong. I've lived my life wrong, and it's just going to get even worse suffering as it goes along. And it's all my fault because I'm making the wrong choices, but I can't figure out how to make the right choices. That's kind of like,
The right choice, the choice that I'm talking about is not the choice about how to live your life, what is right, what is wrong, morality, money, health. The choice I'm talking about, if we want to talk about choice in a way that is meaningful, is choose to remember what you are constantly and forget about the drama of life. This voice that is speaking to you, this is the madness. This is the confusion speaking. You did nothing wrong. You are awareness. How can awareness do anything wrong? Who is judging? Madness. Madness is judging its own imagination. The finite mind is manufacturing the past of your life. And it is the same voice that is judging it.
And worrying that I'm the cause of my own suffering and I better figure it out and start acting differently so I won't, you know what I mean? That's like the threat.
Yeah, this is the madness.
Mm-hmm.
You have nothing to change. There is nothing wrong with you. There is. Are you hearing me? There is nothing wrong with you. You did nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you now, and you can do nothing to make it wrong anyway in the future. you are listening to a voice that is not yours.
Mhm.
And this is where choice is, if we want to talk about choice, and if we want to believe that there is some kind of choice. But ultimately there is none. But at this level, we can speak about this level of choice. You can choose to hear this madness and say, yes, that you are right. Oh, but yes, you are right. I'm terrible. Oh, yeah, I did this 30 years ago. And now I'm guilty for life. Oh, yeah, this is one choice. Or you can choose to let it go and remember, oh, I'm present right now. And right now, there's nothing wrong with sensing. There can be pain, but there's no guilt or wrong in the sense I did something wrong.
I
When there is
caused
pain,
it.
when there is pain, there is something wrong in the functionality of the body. Okay, this is another thing. There's nothing wrong in that I did it. I'm guilty, or he is guilty, or whatever, because he did this to me. There is simply sensing. And there is perceiving and hearing. And there is strong sound, terrible sound. Okay, it's like pain. There is something not functioning in the hearing, and there'll be an impulse to try to solve it. But there's no guilt, there's no story, there's no drama, there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no projecting my anger. There's simply, what can I do because I don't like that? And there is thought, and thought is this drama that you speak about. You are still catch up in thoughts.
Yeah,
The
for me, it's
most
like if I was
superficial
living,
layer of your experience.
yeah, it's like if I was living correctly, then I wouldn't experience such pain. I must be doing something wrong.
That's enough. There is no living correctly. That's why I say every human is at the bottom. Human experience is the bottom, right? So this is the end. So do your best there. I mean, never judge anyone who human action or the way they live, because we are all here and we are all suffering as human. Okay, let's move on. That's not interesting. What is interesting is what is your relationship with that?
Mhm.
Who are you in a relationship with this individuality?
Yeah,
And this is where you go deeper and you step out of the drama.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with you, Tami. There is nothing wrong with you. The only thing that is wrong with you is that you are listening to a voice that is telling you lies. This is the only thing that is wrong.
Mhm.
But it's very easy to simply say, that's not true. It's easy because if you watch your experience, you will see this voice is nowhere to be found. And there is no fact. This voice has no fact. And you see, when I say there's nothing wrong with you, this voice start, yeah, but exactly. This is the madness that try to convince you that there is something wrong. But there is nothing wrong. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Bye, Pattea. Bye. And then there is silence.
Yeah. No, because everyone says that I am the cause of my own suffering, and my voice then says it as well. But like that is possible to figure out how to live in a way that I wouldn't be in such suffering, that my choices have caused the stuff. My choices have caused.
There is nothing to figure it out. Be sensitive, be gentle, and look at what is here. And that's why I've built a course, but I'm aware that not everyone can do it. I understand for different reasons. But that's why I start with thought, the layer of thought. And in thought, the first thing that we explore is time. And that's where you are stuck.
Mhm.
You feel stuck. You believe everything that comes from the past, and you believe everything that comes from the future. And then you feel anxiety and you judge yourself from this imagination. You feel guilt about the past. You feel fear now, and you feel anxiety about the future. The easy way, if you cut the tree to the roots, it's when you see the activity of time and how time works. When you see this clearly, and that's what I'm trying to express it clearly and exhaustively, but here there's not much time, to I talk about time, there's no time, and then there's no more time, this is how it is. It's a language, but there's not much space to really go deep into it. But when you see that time is a thought, and you see the effect and how time is affecting your experience, and you realize that really time it's manufactured, it's an imagination. You will see how you will be amazed about how much problems dissolve completely. So the way is always to go to the root of the issue. When you try to figure out, you're still in the periphery, because experience is not something to figure it out. Experience is something to engage with directly and with sensitivity. This is how you engage with your experience.
By engage, you mean just be in the moment kind of thing and deal with what presents?
Yeah, be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever swim in the sea at a sunset?
Yes.
I did this. It was just amazing. And this is direct engagement with experience. You don't try to figure out the temperature of the sea. Don't try to figure out where you are. Don't try to figure out what time is it and how long time. You are just, this is it, this is it. This is. So often it's easier to feel this kind of engagement, direct engagement in the moment where external experience is very comfortable and blissful, like sunset, nature, like everyone is smiling around you, it's easier. But it's the same engagement that you have to do in every aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're always directly engaged with it and nothing to think about. There is only what's happening now. What's happening is there is sensation, perception, and thoughts.
Thank you. It's very helpful.
Oh, yeah. Every time there is thought appearing, remember, you can ask simply, is this in the past, in the future, or happening right now? And if it is not happening right now, there's nothing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing to think about.
That seems crazy and irresponsible, but I will definitely try it. So thank you.
I mean, being sane and responsible have not make you happy. So at some point, why not try the opposite? And you will see this is really being sane and responsible. Being insane is being worried about what's not happening, about imagination. And being irresponsible is trying to control everything to match your own insane desire about an imagination that is not happening. What is insane is to be angry to people about a past that is not here and try to punish them from them. But this is insanity, and this is what's happening around us. And so you will see what I'm offering you is to become insane, becoming happy.
Thank you. Deeply
Okay.
appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.